Hey YouTube, tomorrow is Community Day, and it is Ponyta's both Galarian and the Kanto. So I immediately dismissed this, and then I just put it in PvP Poke, and there is quite a lot of pickups and wins with this move. So we're gonna go over the event, we're gonna go over the rankings, the Pokemon itself, and then what these new moves actually do to the Pokemon, because they pick up actually more wins than I expected them to. So yes, Ponyta. So let's just go over the pros and cons. So they're getting Wild Charge. We'll go over the move Wild Charge in a minute. Both Ponytas have their shiny released, and it's not just like recently. Maybe like the Galarian Ponyta was in like the last year, but the Kanto Tour Ponyta was released like 4 years ago. So these are not new shiny Pokemon. So if you're looking for new shinies, this is not an event for you. However, if you're looking for two of the coolest shinies, these shinies are sick. So I don't even care about shinies in the game, but that blue fire Ponyta and that yellow sprinkled Galarian Ponyta are both very, very cool looking shinies. So from a shiny perspective, if you like shinies, these are, I think in my opinion, two of the coolest looking shinies in the game. The main bonus is 3 times Stardust for catching. So whenever we can see 3 times Stardust, we love that. So put your star piece on and try to catch a bunch of Pokemon. And then it's just the regular stuff. So it's 2 times Candy and 3 times Stardust for catching. That's interesting. So you kind of got like a double bonus there. Or I don't know if 2 times regular now, but a good way to get candies. But again, this thing has been around forever. But if you're newer to the game, maybe you haven't seen the Ponytas in a while. Okay, so GBL perspective. They're not good Pokemon. In the Great League, they're ranked 380 with the Kanto Rapidash, and the Galarian is ranked 462. And why is that? Well, just from a stat product, you can already see the problem, right? So 134 attack, 110 defense, 111 stamina. Very, very, very bad defense and stamina combo here. 1658 overall is bad overall. So you're a glass cannon. That's a negative in PvP Poke, and that is a negative in GBL in general. If you don't have moves that absolutely dominate to offset for this. So glass cannon hits hard but struggles. You need shields. So with such a high attack and such low defensive stamina, yes, this thing's gonna hit super hard, but you're gonna need moves that really spam and threaten your opponent to do that. Unfortunately, unfortunately, you have on Kanto Ninetales Incinerate, Fire Spin, Ember, and Low Kick as your fast move. Now, Incinerate is the best fast move in the game in terms of the combo of damage and energy per turn. As you can see, 4 energy per turn and 4.8 damage per turn is quite a great combo here. You get same type attack bonus on the fire there because you're a fire type Pokemon. So the damage is, you're going to output with your attack stat product quite a lot of damage with these Incinerates and charge at a decent pace. Now, unfortunately, it is a 5-turn move. That is the drawback of Incinerate, which may make this Pokemon even a little trickier to run. Because again, you want to try and get to your, yes, Incinerate chips a lot, but you want to try and get to your charge move fast. And when you're caught in a long 5-turn Incinerate, it really kind of limits when you can throw those charge moves. I think the main problem it has right now is its moveset is a 45 for 80 Drill Run is one of the recommended movesets, and then your second moveset is 50 for 78. Now, when I dismissed Wild Charge, I dismissed it because I'm like, that's not a fast charging, that's not a fast move either. So if we go to charge move and throw in Wild Charge, it is also a 45 for 100, so 45 energy for 100 damage base. So you have like 2 things you can do here. I replaced Drill Run with Wild Charge because if you're also relying on your Incinerate damage, you want to potentially boost that damage. So when I put in PvP Poke, I put in Flame Charge and Wild Charge and just replace that 45-80 with a 45-100, right? So that's what I did in the rankings. In terms of typings, again, if you've watched this channel for a while, I think Fire is one of the worst typings in this meta, just because it has a lot of weaknesses of stuff you see. Ground and water is, and now even more rock is very, very, very prevalent in the meta. And then the stuff that you do super effective against, grass and bug, that you also resist, is there's not a ton of that. So unfortunately, from your typing perspective, you don't have a lot going for you. So that's kind of why it was always bad. And then Galarian Rapidash, same stat product. So Fairy Wind is a very fast charging move. 4.5 energy per turn. Low on the damage, but it got buffed. You have a bait move, but unfortunately that bait move is non-stab and got nerfed, right? So if you watch my video on Gastrodon, or if you watch my video on Clefable, Gastrodon has Body Slam and Clefable has Swift. Both are normal type moves. Both do not get same type attack bonus, and both are generally garbage. Same thing. You have a non-stab Body Slam. It is generally a garbage move, but is your quickest move. And then you jump into super high energy, 55, 60, 55. So having a 45 wild charge that throws 100 damage is going to be an upgrade for a Pokemon that would otherwise have to get to high charging moves. Psychic and Fairy, kind of a unique typing. Weaknesses is Ghost, Poison, and Steel. And then you double resist Fighting, double resist Dragon, single resist Ghost. So it's kind of a unique typing. You don't really see this typing much. So obviously there's a bunch of Poison buff. There's not as much Steel this year because Steel Wing got nerfed. So that's a positive. And the Ghost, yeah, Ghost got buffed with the Astonish. So there's a lot there. Okay, so what happened? So I put in Great League and Ultra League for both Rapidashes. Like I said, I took out the Drill Run. I kept the Flame Charge on the second one, and I put in Wild Charge instead of the Drill Run. And then you're running Body Slam, Play Rough. I put in Body Slam, Wild Charge because it's your quick move that you can do. So you go down here and look at. Problem is it compares to like the first one. So this compares like the Galarian Rapidash. Sorry, the Kanto Rapidash is your baseline here. So when you look at the wins and losses here, these two do not make sense. You can just see they're here. So what is easiest to do is just go down the line here and just look at the differences in wins. So Kanto Rapidash picks up 5 wins with this wild charge. And Galarian Rapidash picks up 4 wins compared to the other one. So 5 wins is not insignificant. A 17-20 record is not terrible, and a 473 overall average is not the worst. It's not great. It's not good. And in fact, there are, in terms of just pure fires, there's probably like, not pure fires, but a Pokemon with fire typing, there's probably like 5 to 10 others I would use before I would use Rapidash, even with this buff. But like you pick up Talonflame, which makes sense because you can throw the Wild Charge. Mandibuzz makes sense. You can throw the Wild Charge. Malamar, I guess it's just a quicker move to be able to get to and hit it pretty hard. And then Dugong, obviously being able to hit super effective. So you're hitting now super effective in Azumarill. So you picked up all the water and flying Pokemon. Not all the water and flying, but you picked up some water and flying Pokemon. So it makes sense having a nuke of a Wild Charge to pick up water and flying Pokemon. So that, in my opinion, is actually not a good showcase of the move. When I get a Community Day move, I would like to see it pick up a bunch of matchups that is not just the stuff that I'm now hitting super effective against. Like, it's great picking up 5 matchups against what are meta relevant Pokemon is not insignificant. Do not get me wrong, it is not insignificant to pick those up. But again, if I can't even like wild charge another Pokemon that was that in a neutral situation, I don't love that. And then the Galarian Weezing picks up 4, but a 14-23 record and 452 overall is not anything worth talking about here. It looks like, yeah, see, you can't just, I'd have to let me just delete these just so you can see the baseline comparison of the Rapidash here. So Rapidash, same thing. You're picking up all the water Pokemon, flying Pokemon, and then Sableye as your sort of off one, and then you lose Chestnut and Quagsire. Because now, yeah, Wild Charge is resisted. Wild Charge is resisted. So instead of having a super effective Play Rough and a neutral Play Rough, you now have a move that does not work. Rapidash, the only thing I will say about Galarian Rapidash, about why to potentially get it, we have a Psychic Cup coming up next week. So when this league turns over on Tuesday, you will have a Galarian Rapidash with Wild Charge. So although in the Open Great League it is useless, in my opinion, it is already one of the top Pokemon in okay. It was already one of the top Pokemon in the Psychic Cup. I'm now starting to second guess whether Wild Charge is actually going to be useful or not. And here's why. You're using Body Slam, but the second move you're using in the Psychic Cup is Mega Horn. And not only is Mega Horn a 2 damage per energy move, Bug is super effective against Psychic. And it's super effective against Dark. So something like Malamar, it'd be double super effective against. So I don't even think, unfortunately, I was like, oh yeah, this will be better in Limited Cups. The Limited Cup that is on next week is a Psychic Cup, and Mega Horn is going to kill everything in Psychic Cup. So I don't even think, and you wouldn't run Wild Charge Mega Horn because you want that bait Body Slam. Even though it's a terrible move, you do need that bait Body Slam before you land the Mega Horn. So I don't even think it's going to be useful in the Cup. I would probably still want to run Mega Horn for those reasons. Ultra League, I was like, I can't imagine these have any play in Ultra League. So if you look at the overall records, they do. Okay. Again, we got to talk about the Kanto Rapidash. The Galarian Rapidash, again, essentially useless. The Kanto Rapidash going up to 18 and 13 record with a 49 overall average is not insignificant. So we're picking up, again, Tentacruel, the water Pokemon and the flying. Tentacruel, Tapu Fini, Talonflame, Poliwrath, Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz, Drifblim. So, again, you're picking up all the things you would expect to pick up with a Wild Charge. That being said, to flip it to an 18 and 13 record with a 489 overall average, that's not insignificant. Again, I still have problems with Fire. And a Incinerate, Wild Charge, Flame Charge combo. I do not love that that moveset in the Ultra League that has been dominated by Giratina, because that's just essentially a wall to you, right? So if we go down to Giratina altered here, you're looking at with a Shadow Claw 251 loss here, which is a quite significant loss. So we'll come down to like what we think the meta will be. And a Feraligatr, even though you have Wild Charge, you still lose to Feraligatr because you're just going to get outspammed with the Hydros. So it's unclear its role in Ultra League right now or the Great League. And again, Fire has just always been a kind of a tricky one to run. Fire dominated for a while there when the meta was Walrein as a half ice, Registeel as a steel, and Trevenant as a grass. That's when I dominated with Kanto Ninetales. But since then, it's been a very water-dominated meta in the Great League, and now it's like a water, rock, ground-dominated meta in the Great League. So Fire is also trickier to run in the Great League. And in the Ultra League, it has always been dominated by Giratina's, Dragons, and like Fighters and Swampert. So it's always been tricky to run there too. So I'm still... This is one I'll probably have to test out because it is one where on paper against the main meta, 18 to 13 record, 49, on paper it plays well. I'm still a little undecided how well it's going to play actually playing it. So all in all, when you get to these community moves, I always say definitely, if you can, get one, because you never know what move is going to be buffed. You don't know what's going to be nerfed. You don't know how the meta is going to shift, and suddenly some Pokemon become relevant. So there always is the argument, like, yes, you need to go out and get these Pokemon. If you're looking at like just the current move set here and the current Pokemon, the analysis shows that Rapidash picks up more, and that is just a product of it's a product of, I was going to say, it's because you're maybe wondering to yourself, is Galarian Rapidash not picking up those matchups? So why isn't it the same thing there? And it's not the same thing there because like Kanto Rapidash has the benefit of almost as quick charging as Fairy Wind, but with an insane amount of more damage. So when you need to wild charge something it's a nuke for sure, but a lot of the times, even in some super effective matchups that are against very bulky Pokemon, a non-stab wild charge from either Rapidash will not one-shot like potentially a flyer. Like I think it probably will. Maybe not Mandibuzz, like the very, very tanky ones, but actually let's just go to the Mandibuzz matchup just to see. I mean, the Galarian Rapidash should beat it too because it is half. I just want to see how much. Actually, it says it loses. It says with the wild charge, you lose to Mandibuzz. And that's just going straight. That's just going your first wild charge. Not baiting, just going straight wild charge. A wild charge only does 45%. 45% to a Mandibuzz, right? And the fairy winds are super effective, so they'll add up a lot. But this is just example of seeing like a non-stab nuke is still non-stab, and when you don't take it out right away, you're going to be forced to throw multiple incinerate, and a body slam does not take out here, right? So basically, you need to throw 2 wild charges here. However, in the Rapidash scenario, the incinerates do that additional damage. So, they boost here too. Let me just see if you can just go straight wild charge here. You can. The incinerates do just that additional damage that is now low enough that you can just go straight wild charge and take out the moves there. So why can't the other one throw 3? Oh, I just closed it. Why can't Galarian Rapidash just throw 3 wild charges? From a fairy wind? I feel like there's something off with unless it's like a timing issue, and it's harder to time the snarls on the Mandibuzz's end against a 5-turn move than it is to time against a 2-turn move. That'd be my only argument. So maybe you're getting some extra energy in those 5-turn moves because it's a little tougher to time on the 3-turn moves compared to 5-turn. But I think it's kind of a weird one here. And that's why when we're talking about like a 5-turn move versus a 2-turn move, and then getting to like nukes and stuff, there's a lot of different factors at play here. So I think a lot of these is like you probably need to test it out. But again, in principle, just logically, it makes sense that you have a super fast charging move in Fairy Wind that doesn't hit hard, but you have a generally almost just as fast charging move in Incinerate that hits really hard. So with that additional Incinerate damage, both throwing wild charge, non-stab nukes, you should, with the extra Incinerate damage, take out some Pokemon that Rapidash would not take out. That's essentially the analysis that I would think. Anyways, that is it. So yeah, good luck hunting if you're looking for something specific. Again, I've got both shinies already, so it's not... I don't think it's anything that I need to go actively hunt for, but maybe if I'm out for an hour, we'll just go from there. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.